Hello. I actually recorded the previous video. Uh, as you can see, I'm still in Hyogo. The previous video. Haven't forgot this happened, which maybe is a good sign of how much this story I'm about to tell you affected me. Um, okay, so Friday. Alright, I am moving 4 hours by train away from where I live now, and we have not fully decided yet if at the end of March I am having my future brother-in-law drive up to Gifu and throw my boxes and shelves and things in the van and drive back, or if before that to give some time to get the house ready and relax before I start a new job, having a moving service come. But if a moving service comes, it will be nice to kind of carry what items I can on the train to Kyoto myself. So this is what I did. I brought a little box. It was heavy though, quite heavy. A box of pictures that I have, blankets, the pillow, the Luna cushion you saw on the bed. So I had a couple bags, and it was really awkward. So I had to take them on the bus and take them to work and then deal with them at work. And, after work, I had to go to the bus, to the train, to 4 hours on the train, to meeting my fiance at the train station where he took over. And so far, when I come, we take a taxi up the hill to the house. But what I wanted to talk about happened on the train coming to Hyogo. So I had a couple of bags, and there is a stretch of the train. I think it's from Maibara to Osaka, where it is an hour, almost 2 hours, and you want a seat. Now, I've had a very busy week. I had the elementary that I have 5 classes twice. I had 5 classes at my junior high school a couple days, and I also had homework of making a activity that my junior high school teacher asked me at the end of the day to make before I went home, and I would not be able to make it in time at work, so I had to make it at home. But it turned out great, but busy. And I had the interview. I was stressed. So I'll be honest here. A couple things play into this. Culture. Americans, I think this is one thing Japanese don't understand about Americans, is we respect and want our personal space. So being crammed like sardines on the train is something that's very nerve-wracking and hard for some Americans. Now, add that as a female in America, you spend many years of protecting yourself by sitting on the outside on the bus. Like if you have a 2-seater, you sit on the aisle to control who will and will not sit next to you. So some strange guy or strange person will not sit next to you. Now, I'm also short. You guys know this. I'm short and basically cannot put bags up in the top rack on the train. And so I did not want, I was being selfish. I could have put these heavy bags on my lap for the 2 hours. Does not sound good. Being short, I did have maybe a little leg space in front of my legs to sit on the inside and put the bags in front of me, but my legs would be constricted and I'd stand all day, and I didn't want anyone sitting next to me. I wanted to defrag, de-stress, just relax on my train ride. That's the disclaimer. So, that being said, my 2 heavy bags I put on my seat next to me. Now, I am not the only person who does this. There are plenty of people who does this, all nationalities, including Japanese. But, of course, because this is a long train ride, and this is a train ride heading to Osaka, Kansai area, it gets crowded. So, there are people standing, the seats in the aisle and things like that. Now, I had an older gentleman who was sitting in the chair behind me, tapped me quite hard on the shoulder, and I looked at him like, yes, and he was like, put your bags up. And I believe he also did nicely say, like, where are you getting off? Like, maybe if you need help, because he did see I was short, because he saw me get on the train. If where are you getting off? We can help you put that down. I'm like, I just shook my head and ignored him after that. Now, when he got off the train, I believe, he tried to tell me again, and he said, he had every point that he said, everyone's tired, so, if you could put your bags up, I'm not going to rely on somebody to bring my bags down. And this is just, I don't know. I know it's not the best, like, it's some personal faults there. But, so what happened was, at Osaka, when people were getting off at Osaka, this man who was sitting in front of me gets off when he was in the seat in front of me. When he gets off, he sees me there, he sees the bags. And I have my head down. I have headphones on. I'm listening to, Aloha Mora, or, Swish and Flick, something. Like, I can't remember, but it was Harry Potter podcast. And I have my head down. I'm tired. I am feeling so tired. And maybe the start of feeling just a little like, am I getting a cold? But very little. Tired. I want food. I was looking down. Put his index finger in my eyesight. And kind of like, I ignore it. This strange guy sticking his finger in my face. I ignore it. He ripped the headphone out of my ear. And he says to me, he did that. And my reply was, basically in Japanese, WTF, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, and I said that in Japanese. And he looks at me and he says, not this way, in English, F you. Won't say the real, but F you. You should be ashamed. Go back to your country, F you. And then he got off the train. And I just sat there like, what just happened? This man accosted me by, like, pulling out my earphone to say, F you, go back to your country. I should be ashamed because I chose to have bags on the seat. I started to cry. Here I am, not a tourist, not someone visiting Japan, but someone who has lived in Japan for 7 years, teaches Japanese children, works in the Japanese environment, getting married to a Japanese man. And I'm being told to go back to my country. So I cried. And anyone who's cried knows it's also difficult to talk. So I changed trains. The next train was a women's only car. which is fine. And basically, well, I started talking to my best friend about it and go, oh my god, this just happened. Because I've been talking to her about her coming to Japan in April and March, or April or May. And to my boo, my fiance, who was going to meet me at the station, I said, ... Like, there's no way I can explain this in Japanese. And he was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm crying, so I can't talk. And he said, okay, we'll meet it at the station. So at the station, I needed to pay. I had a pass, and I needed to pay what was left. Did that. My fiance was like right there. And then after that, I just walked to a corner and I started sobbing. And my fiance is like, what's going on? What happened? You know, he's like, talk to me. What's going on? But he said, okay. Should we first just get back to the house? We took a taxi. Came back here. And just because I couldn't talk. Like, even though the tightness in the throat. Difficult to talk. And, I told him. And I'll be honest, I kind of wanted a slight angry, you know, let me go hunt this guy down kind of reaction. But his reaction was very heartbroken and like, oh my god, wow. And very much I'm sure this guy pisses off everyone in his life, and he's not a nice person. And I'm sure the people around were like, what did that guy just say? WTF? But, you know, they didn't say anything. But I'm sure everyone was like thinking badly about him, not you. That was his reaction. It was great. Because it's true. It's true. And then I realized he said it in English. He also said it in English, so I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure the people around know F you. But they didn't quite understand what he said. And that's probably why he said it in English, that I'd understand. But he didn't have to have the full shame of saying it in Japanese and everyone around going, whoa. So there was a bit of protection with that, I think. And this video is longer than I thought it was going to be, sorry. But I mean, I've had experiences with things where you are not Japanese. You are a foreigner in Japan. And there is a clear difference. And when I hear people, like, also as someone who works in Japan, you also see a different side of Japan because you're an outsider. So there's more of a, it's gonna be slightly more flowers, like in the workforce and things like that. I've seen the ugly side of it too, like the abuse I got at my eikaiwa that I worked at. But we don't fully see certain dark sides of Japan's because we're an outsider. But now I'm white, and I am short, and, you know, not the typical, what you would think, cheerleader, stereotype, white girl growing up. So it's not, you know, I was teased, I was gawked at, and like, but, so I felt like an outsider, but in Japan, I know I'm a white-sider. There's a new word. I'm a white-sider. I'm an outsider because I'm white. So I know why I get looks from children. It has nothing to do with like, oh my gosh, you're short, or, you know, you're fat, or you're ugly, or it's, you're not Japanese. So there's been a different feeling with those type of race, that type of racism in Japan. Um, that that comes with the you're not Japanese, and it happens. But the blatant go back to your country, like, and so much of this is happening in America right now, and I'm not going to comment a lot on that because I'm in Japan. I only see so much news. I have my own views. But when you love a country, and whether you were being born there or not, like in America, being told to go back and you've been, like, you were born there, and maybe you're like fifth generation, but just because you happen to be Hispanic or something, they're saying go back. You should go back to Mexico or something. I don't get it. But that was the experience that happened to me here in Japan on Friday. Um I mean, it was not enough that that guy invaded my personal space. I was scared when he, like, I was already kind of getting nervous, but figured if I just ignored him, he's going to move on. Just like the older man who touched me and, like, tried to talk to me again. I'm like, yeah, just ignore him. But then he ripped the headphone out of my ear. I'm like, what? Okay, because I want this to be under 20 minutes. Oh, God. I'm sorry it's long, but it's something I wanted to talk about. And hopefully this is not the start. Because especially now getting married to a Japanese man, meeting his friends and family and stuff, there are new things that I'm being exposed to instead of just a foreigner who goes to work and sits in their apartment after, like his family member who was like, I never thought a foreigner would join this family, and didn't want to sit next to me, and said he didn't want to sit next to me because he was scared of English. Like, those things happen. The train was something different. And we went to Osaka for the interview yesterday, and I that guy was on the back of my mind. Like, I did not want to run into that guy again. Do I even remember what he looks like? Like, I don't know. Okay, guys, that's this video. But you know what? I wanted to share what happened and talk about it and do this in one take. Rambling, having to take a few deep breaths to keep myself from crying, all of it. As I recorded this, I saw a message from my fiance saying he's on his way home. So, I'm going to prepare for that. So until next time, ciao.